Hello, this is Donghyun Kim and welcome to my Korean culture guide video. This time I will introduce the traditional Korean hat called gat. Gat was usually worn along with hanbok, the traditional attire in Joseon period. It was an official outdoor hat for the men. Until the late 19th century, the gat had existed as the utmost completion of men's fashion for over 1500 years. If you have watched a lot of Korean historical dramas, you might be familiar with this hat. The appearance of gat is very simple. They have a cylindrical shape with a wide circular brim and a partly transparent black collar. There are only few materials used for making gat: the horsehair and bamboo frames. However, the traditional hat is also considered as a masterpiece of art because of its complicated and meticulous making process. First, bamboo frames are used for making the basic shape of gat. Then, makers fill in the gap between the frames by weaving the horsehair and adding more frames into gat. The horsehair is very light, durable material, making the hat easy to carry, plus cooling the inside of the hat. The final step is connecting gatgun, the strips that fix gat to head. In this process, the makers add various kinds of ornaments on strips, as much as the customer wants. They added beads made up of expensive jewelries such as jade, agate, amber, coral, and rock crystals. Now I am going to introduce one special drawing. It was drawn in the late Joseon period, around the 18th century. The drawing's name is Sa-in Hi-eun, the scholars who enjoy reading books and poems. As you see this drawing, you can notice that there are many other various types of hats the scholars wear. Each type of gat is worn for different situations, from casual to public life and from outdoors to indoors. Not only that, it symbolizes the social power of the individuals who wear them. I'd like to introduce a few of them. The first is a gat called heungnip, where it belongs to hats worn in outdoors and casual situations. This is the most common and familiar type of gat in Joseon Dynasty, and primarily worn by Sunbi and Yangban. They were the scholars in the drawings who faithfully learned the teachings of Confucius and applied them to real life through government policies. Wearing this hat showed their duties to study efficient ways to govern the people. Its style has changed throughout hundreds of years of history. The form of heungnip, what we know now, came from the middle age of Joseon Dynasty. King Jeongjo, the 22nd ruler of the Joseon Dynasty, started various social reforms to improve the nation. Among various reforms, he set a new standard to the shape of heungnip. Before his regime, the brim of gat was so wide that only two people could barely share one table by sitting in the opposite directions. Therefore, the king set its standard of its smaller size to prevent such inconvenient situations in the ordinary life of scholars. Although this was the symbol of higher social status of scholars in the Joseon period, the heungnip was also introduced to normal peasants in the late Joseon period, when the class struggles became much more prevalent in Joseon society. The second type of gat is chorip. The shape of chorip is pretty similar to that of heungnip, because it was primarily used in the era before heungnip was widely worn by people. Because this was entirely made with bamboo stems, you can see that there's a clear color difference between heungnip and chorip. This kind of hat was also worn by Seonbi and other normal peasants in early Joseon period. As the Joseon Dynasty turned it to its middle age, it became primarily worn by children who had not fully grown to become a scholar. Wearing this hat meant that he is a young boy who is studying to become a yangban or seonbi like their parents. The third type of cut is pedangnip. This is the outdoor hat primarily worn by people whose social status was lower than that of the peasants. They are called cheonmin in Korean, and those with jobs like musicians, clowns, butchers, peddlers, soldiers of government offices, Buddhist monks are included in this lower class citizens in Joseon period. When Donghak Peasant Revolution breaks out in 1895 due to the intense class discrimination, there was even a petition to get rid of pedangnip, which symbolized lower class citizens. Like this, the difference of hats clearly shows the difference of social status of individuals who wear them in the Joseon Dynasty.